Ladies and gentlemen, many people believe that the pursuit of physical pleasure will bring lasting satisfaction, yet countless individuals who chase after fleeting encounters or view relationships as temporary find themselves feeling emptier than before. The initial thrill fades, leaving behind emotional wounds, regret, and sometimes even broken relationships. What was meant to be an intimate and meaningful bond can become a mere transaction, devoid of love and true connection. The consequences of an unrestrained pursuit of pleasure extend beyond the emotional realm. Many suffer from a loss of self-worth, broken families, and deep loneliness despite being surrounded by people. Society often promotes the idea that personal freedom means engaging in whatever brings immediate gratification, yet true freedom comes from self-control and meaningful relationships, not from indulgence without responsibility. There is also the misconception that physical attraction and passion alone can sustain a relationship. While passion is important, relationships built solely on sexual attraction often struggle when deeper emotional, spiritual, and intellectual connections are lacking. True intimacy is more than just a physical experience. It is the ability to trust, love, and commit to another person on every level. Moreover, when people base their self-worth on their ability to attract or engage in sexual relationships, they become trapped in a cycle of insecurity and constant comparison. Beauty and attraction fade with time, but love, respect, and deep companionship endure. Chasing validation through physical relationships is a never-ending pursuit that ultimately leaves one unfulfilled. In contrast, those who understand that sex is just one part of a deeper human experience find greater satisfaction in life. True joy comes from love, commitment, and emotional security rather than momentary pleasure. When sex is valued as part of a meaningful relationship, it enhances intimacy and connection rather than becoming an empty pursuit. In the end, fulfillment is not found in endless physical encounters, but in the deeper bonds we create and the love that sustains us beyond fleeting desires. Power is one of the most sought-after forces in the world. It grants influence, authority, and control, often making people feel important and unstoppable. Throughout history, leaders, rulers, and individuals in positions of authority have fought for power, believing that it would bring them security, respect, and fulfillment. However, power in itself is not inherently good or bad. It is how it is used that determines whether it uplifts or destroys. When power is used for selfish gain, it corrupts. The desire for control can become addictive, leading individuals to manipulate, deceive, and even harm others in pursuit of more authority. Many who rise to positions of power find themselves consumed by pride, believing they are above others. They make decisions based on personal ambition rather than the well-being of those they lead. This unchecked thirst for control has led to the downfall of countless leaders, nations, and institutions throughout history. Power has the ability to isolate those who hold it. The higher one climbs in status, the fewer people they trust. Paranoia sets in as they fear losing their position. Friendships become transactional, and relationships are built on convenience rather than genuine care. Some become so obsessed with maintaining their authority that they sacrifice integrity, loyalty, and even their own happiness. Instead of using their influence for good, they focus solely on self-preservation. However, power does not have to be destructive. When used responsibly, it can create change, bring justice, and uplift communities. True leadership is not about domination, but about service. The greatest leaders in history have been those who use their power to help others, not to control them. They understood that real influence comes not from fear or coercion, but from respect and compassion. The ultimate test of power is not in how much one gains, but in how they handle it when they have it. Those who recognize that power is temporary and meant to be used for the greater good leave a lasting impact. They are remembered not for their authority, but for the positive change they inspired. The pursuit of power for personal gain will always lead to emptiness, but when used to uplift others, it becomes a force for true and lasting greatness. Wealth is often seen as the ultimate measure of success. Society constantly reinforces the idea that the more money a person has, the happier and more fulfilled they will be. Many people spend their entire lives chasing financial success, believing that once they reach a certain level of riches, all their problems will disappear. However, time and time again, we see that wealth alone does not guarantee true happiness or fulfillment. Money can provide comfort, security, and access to opportunities. It allows people to enjoy luxuries, travel, and experience things that others may never have the chance to. However, beyond a certain point, wealth does not bring deeper satisfaction. Many individuals who have acquired great fortune still feel empty, struggling with depression, anxiety, and a sense of purposelessness. The reason for this is simple. Material wealth can satisfy physical needs, but it cannot fill the deeper emotional and spiritual voids in life. Another problem with the pursuit of riches is that it often becomes an endless cycle. People who once dreamed of earning a comfortable amount often find themselves wanting more. A person who once wished for a modest home eventually desires a mansion. Someone who longed for financial stability later seeks extravagant luxury. No matter how much is acquired, the hunger for more never seems to be satisfied. This constant craving leads to stress, greed, and an inability to appreciate what one already has. Wealth also has the potential to strain relationships. Money can create division within families, friendships, and even marriages. People often treat the wealthy differently, sometimes with admiration and sometimes with resentment. Those who accumulate riches may find it difficult to determine whether people value them for who they are or for what they have. Many wealthy individuals live in fear of losing their fortune, making them unable to enjoy the very success they worked so hard to achieve. True wealth is not measured by bank accounts or possessions, but by the impact one has on others. Those who use their financial resources to help others, support meaningful causes, and bring positive change to the world find greater fulfillment than those who hoard riches for themselves. In the end, money is just a tool. It can be used for selfish gain or for something greater, but it will never be enough to satisfy the deepest longings of the heart unless it is paired with purpose, generosity, and genuine human connection. Materialism has become one of the defining traits of modern society. People are constantly encouraged to believe that their worth is measured by what they own: the latest gadgets, expensive cars, designer clothes, and luxurious homes. Advertisements, social media, and cultural expectations all reinforce the idea that happiness is tied to material possessions. Despite accumulating more than ever before, many people still feel empty, unfulfilled, and constantly searching for something more. One of the greatest illusions of materialism is the belief that possessions can provide lasting happiness. While buying something new can bring temporary excitement, that feeling quickly fades. The joy of a new phone lasts until a newer model is released. The thrill of an expensive purchase diminishes as soon as a big trend arrives. This endless cycle keeps people trapped in a mindset of dissatisfaction, always wanting more but never feeling truly content. Materialism also leads to financial stress. Many people go into debt trying to maintain a lifestyle they cannot afford, believing that wealth and luxury will bring them respect and admiration. They work longer hours, sacrifice personal time, and prioritize money over relationships, only to realize too late that material wealth comes at a cost. Families suffer, friendships weaken, and personal well-being declines when life revolves around chasing possessions instead of nurturing meaningful connections. Beyond personal consequences, materialism also affects society as a whole. It fosters a culture of comparison where people measure their success against others based on external displays of wealth. This creates pressure to keep up with unrealistic standards, leading to feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. Instead of focusing on character, values, and personal growth, people become consumed with appearances, trying to project an image of success rather than finding true fulfillment. True happiness does not come from what we own, but from how we live. The most content individuals are not necessarily the richest or the ones with the most possessions, but those who find joy in relationships, purpose, and meaningful experiences. The pursuit of material things often leads to disappointment, but investing in love, kindness, and personal growth leads to lasting fulfillment. When people shift their focus from accumulating possessions to enriching their lives and the lives of others, they discover a deeper sense of peace and purpose that material wealth could never provide. Life is often spent in pursuit of success, pleasure, and security, but at the end of the day, the most fulfilling aspects of life are not found in temporary achievements or material possessions. True meaning comes from love, purpose, and service, things that have lasting value beyond personal gain. While wealth, power, and status may provide comfort or recognition, they do not satisfy the deepest needs of the heart. People who devote their lives solely to these pursuits often find themselves feeling empty, longing for something greater. Love is one of the most powerful forces that bring true fulfillment. Not just romantic love, but the love shared between family, friends, and humanity as a whole. People who prioritize relationships over possessions and achievements experience deeper joy and connection. At the end of life, few people regret not making more money or gaining more recognition, but many regret not spending enough time with loved ones. Genuine love requires sacrifice, patience, and selflessness, but in return, it offers the kind of fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Having a sense of purpose is equally essential. Without purpose, life can feel directionless, no matter how much success one achieves. Purpose is not just about personal ambitions, it is about contributing to something greater than oneself. Whether through a career, community involvement, or personal passions, people find deeper satisfaction when their actions align with meaningful goals. Those who dedicate themselves to helping others or making a difference in the world often experience a stronger sense of fulfillment than those who only seek self-advancement. Service to others is another key to a meaningful life. When people give their time, energy, and resources to help those in need, they experience a level of joy that cannot be bought or earned through selfish pursuits. Acts of kindness, generosity, and compassion create lasting impact, not just in the lives of those being helped, but also in the hearts of those who give. Serving others shifts the focus from personal desires to the well-being of others, creating a deeper connection to the world and a greater appreciation for life. The pursuit of pleasure has become one of the primary goals of modern society. Many believe that if they can experience enough pleasure, whether through relationships, wealth, or entertainment, they will achieve lasting happiness. However, the reality is that the constant pursuit of pleasure often leads to emptiness rather than fulfillment. People chase excitement, thinking it will bring them satisfaction, but once the moment passes, they find themselves searching for the next thrill. This cycle continues endlessly, leaving them feeling unfulfilled despite having experienced everything they thought would bring joy. One of the biggest misconceptions is that pleasure and happiness are the same. Pleasure is temporary. It is a fleeting sensation that comes and goes. Happiness, on the other hand, is deeper and more lasting. When individuals make pleasure their main goal, they often neglect the things that lead to true contentment, purpose, meaningful relationships, and inner peace. The constant need for new experiences, new possessions, or new relationships can leave a person exhausted and unsatisfied because the joy they seek is always just out of reach. This endless pursuit also has consequences. Many people who prioritize pleasure over responsibility find themselves trapped in unhealthy habits. Whether it is through excessive indulgence in physical desires, addictive behaviors, or reckless decision-making, the focus on momentary enjoyment often leads to long-term regret. What starts as a harmless pursuit of fun can turn into a cycle of dependency, where individuals require more and more stimulation to feel the same level of excitement. This can result in broken relationships, financial instability, and even a loss of self-worth. Moreover, seeking pleasure as the ultimate goal often leads to neglecting the deeper aspects of life. The most meaningful moments are not always the most exciting ones. True joy comes from building something lasting, strong relationships, personal growth, and acts of kindness. People who shift their focus from chasing pleasure to finding purpose often discover a deeper sense of fulfillment than those who constantly seek the next thrill. Ultimately, while pleasure is an important part of life, it should not be the foundation of one's happiness. The constant pursuit of pleasure alone is a path to dissatisfaction, but when balanced with purpose, love, and meaningful connections, life becomes far more fulfilling. Instead of chasing temporary excitement, individuals should seek lasting contentment through deeper values and purposeful living. True leadership is not about control or dominance, but about service and responsibility. Many people believe that gaining power will bring them happiness, security, and influence over others. However, history has shown that power, when pursued for selfish reasons, often leads to corruption, loneliness, and eventual downfall. The desire for control can become an obsession, making people blind to the real purpose of leadership, which is to serve and uplift others rather than to rule over them. One of the greatest dangers of power is that it can corrupt even the best-intentioned individuals. When people gain authority, they may start to believe they are above others and deserve special treatment. They may begin making decisions based on personal ambition rather than fairness and justice. The more they prioritize their own interests, the more they distance themselves from the very people they are meant to lead. This kind of selfish leadership fosters resentment, distrust, and ultimately failure. Power also has a way of isolating those who hold it. Many who rise to positions of authority find themselves surrounded by people who only tell them what they want to hear. Genuine friendships become rare because it becomes difficult to know who truly cares and who simply wants to benefit from their influence. This isolation can lead to paranoia, arrogance, and poor decision-making as leaders lose touch with the reality of those they serve. However, power does not have to be destructive. When used wisely, it can be a force for great good. The most respected and successful leaders throughout history have been those who understood that true power comes from humility, wisdom, and a commitment to justice. They did not see their authority as a tool for personal gain, but as a responsibility to make a difference in the lives of others. Instead of seeking to control, they sought to inspire. Instead of demanding loyalty, they earned respect. The real test of power is not how much one gains, but how one uses it. Those who use their influence to uplift others, to fight for what is right, and to serve rather than rule, leave behind a legacy that lasts far beyond their own lifetime. In the end, power is only meaningful when it is exercised with integrity, humility, and a genuine desire to make the world a better place. Contentment is one of the most valuable qualities a person can have, yet it is often overlooked in the pursuit of wealth. Many believe that if they could just earn more money, buy more possessions, or achieve a higher status, they would finally be happy. However, the reality is that no amount of wealth can satisfy a person who has not learned to be content with what they already have. Without contentment, even the richest individuals can feel poor, always craving more but never feeling fulfilled. One of the greatest illusions about wealth is that it guarantees happiness. While money can provide comfort, security, and access to many conveniences, it does not fill the deeper needs of the human heart. Many wealthy individuals have everything they ever wanted: luxury homes, expensive cars, and endless opportunities, yet they still experience feelings of emptiness, loneliness, and dissatisfaction. This is because material wealth can only satisfy physical needs. But true happiness comes from things that money cannot buy: love, purpose, and inner peace. Another danger of placing too much value on wealth is that it can create a cycle of endless pursuit. Once a person achieves one financial goal, they often set their sights on something even bigger. A modest home is no longer enough; they want a mansion. A comfortable lifestyle is not satisfying; they crave luxury. No matter how much they acquire, there is always something more to desire. This constant striving can lead to stress, exhaustion, and an inability to appreciate the blessings that already exist in life. Additionally, wealth can sometimes damage relationships. People who focus too much on financial success may neglect their families, friendships, and personal well-being. In some cases, relationships become strained because of money, whether due to greed, jealousy, or disputes over inheritance. Instead of bringing people closer, wealth can sometimes drive them apart, especially when it becomes the central focus of life. One of the greatest traps of materialism is the illusion that possessions bring lasting happiness. The excitement of purchasing a new car, a designer outfit, or the latest technology fades quickly, leaving people craving the next big thing. This cycle creates a mindset of never being satisfied, always wanting more, and constantly comparing oneself to others. The pursuit of material goods can become an obsession, making people believe that if they just acquire a little more, they will finally be content. However, that moment of true satisfaction never comes. Materialism also places a significant burden on financial well-being. Many people go into debt trying to maintain a lifestyle that reflects success, even if they cannot afford it. They work long hours, sacrifice personal relationships, and exhaust themselves chasing a vision of success that is ultimately shallow. Instead of bringing happiness, materialism often leads to stress, anxiety, and financial instability. People who focus too much on acquiring possessions may find that, even with all their wealth, they still feel unfulfilled. Beyond personal consequences, materialism has a negative impact on society as a whole. It fosters a culture of comparison where people measure their self-worth against others based on what they own rather than who they are. This leads to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and even resentment. When people prioritize material wealth over values such as kindness, generosity, and integrity, society becomes more focused on competition than on compassion. True happiness and fulfillment do not come from material possessions, but from meaningful experiences, relationships, and personal growth. The most content individuals are not necessarily the wealthiest, but those who find joy in simple moments, deep connections, and a sense of purpose. By shifting focus from material gain to things that truly matter, love, gratitude, and generosity, people can break free from the empty promises of materialism and discover a more fulfilling way to live. In the end, life's greatest treasures are not found in what one owns, but in how one chooses to live. A life built on purpose and meaning is far more valuable than one spent solely on accumulating wealth, status, or material possessions. Many people dedicate their lives to acquiring financial success, gaining influence, or chasing personal pleasure, believing that these pursuits will bring lasting fulfillment. However, as time passes, they often realize that money, power, and possessions do not provide true happiness. The deepest and most enduring satisfaction comes not from what one owns, but from how one lives, the impact one makes, and the relationships one nurtures. Living with purpose gives life direction and significance. Without a clear purpose, people can feel lost, no matter how much they achieve materially. True fulfillment comes from dedicating oneself to something greater than personal gain, whether it be serving others, pursuing a meaningful passion, or making a difference in the world. Those who devote their lives to helping others, contributing to their communities, or working toward a noble cause often experience a deeper sense of satisfaction than those who only seek success for themselves. One of the most rewarding aspects of life is the ability to positively impact others. A person who focuses on material wealth alone may find themselves isolated, while those who invest in relationships and acts of service build connections that bring lasting joy. When people give their time, energy, and resources to help those in need, they find a sense of fulfillment that cannot be purchased. Whether it is through mentorship, charity, or simply being a source of encouragement to others, serving others provides a sense of purpose that goes beyond personal ambition. At the end of life, few people regret not having made more money or accumulated more possessions. Instead, they reflect on the love they shared, the people they helped, and the legacy they leave behind. Those who spend their lives chasing temporary success may find that their accomplishments feel hollow, while those who live with purpose leave behind something meaningful. Their influence extends beyond their own lives, shaping the world in ways that endure long after they are gone.